so excited.
It's time for Two Guys and a Goalie with Dustin Nielsen, Matt Cassian, and the goalie, Joaquin Gage.
Welcome to another edition of Two Mats and a Goalie here on Two Guys and a Goalie here on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Tune in, iHeartRadio, as well as those watching on YouTube. Matt Awanek, Matt Cassian, Joaquin Gage with you here on the show today. Boys, how are you feeling? I know Cass not happy with these late starts.
No,
you guys have you
no.
It's noon already. Have you woken up at least by now?
No. I'm still tired. Like I'm really happy the Oilers won, and I thought they played a great game, and they did exactly what I felt they needed to do, not just to win game one, but to put themselves in a good position moving forward in the series from a play style standpoint. I thought they did all of it. Like I absolutely loved their game. I just hate it, as I will continue to hate, the late starts. Just drive me nuts. I can't stand them, and it's just like I don't know. My kids can't watch. They don't get to be a part of it. I'm exhausted the next day, happy but exhausted. Everyone else is exhausted that's working. So it's just the 8 o'clock starts and 8:30 starts are just ridiculous. But as far as the game goes, guys, I loved it. I was telling Gager before, it's like that was exactly what I felt they needed to do. It was great.
I tapped out after the second, went to the wrapper and watched the third in my bed on my phone. I won't lie.
That's just it. It's like
you don't have a TV in your room?
No, God, no. That's you don't. The bedroom's for something else, Matty. Sleeping.
I'm on board with that.
Well,
my wife and I fight over that all the time. Like, she loves TVs in the bedroom. I'm just like, no.
Yeah. No.
See, I never watch TV in my room. Like, I have a TV though, just in case for those very moments where, like last night, if I wanted to, I have, instead of my phone, I have a TV to quickly throw on to watch the third period and quick shut off, close the eyes, I'm out. I'm just surprised. Like, I respect the fact that you don't have a TV. I don't think a lot of people are like you, Gager.
No, you're the anomaly. That's
no way.
Yeah.
Cass, TV in your bedroom, right?
Let's start the poll. Let's see.
Cass, you got a TV?
We have one in there, but I resisted it for years, and we're at the point now where we don't really use it ever.
Okay, but it's in there. Zach, you got a TV in your bedroom?
Yeah, but I would say, can I say though, even if it's in there, I don't like it in there, and I don't want it in there. And my recommendation would be to not have it. So, Gager, more power to you. Way better for you. Way better for your sleep. Get it out of there. I even have started to pitch hey, we need to move this out of here because we're not using it, and it's stupid. So
I'm starting a YouTube poll. Zach has a TV in his bedroom. Yeah. It's not should you have one. I thought you said you did. You don't? Yeah, okay. It's one of those. I think a lot of people have it. I think I'm in the majority here, Gage, or not you, but I'm going to create this poll right now.
Matty, I've been in a lot of bedrooms, and there's not a lot of TVs in there.
Yes. No. Start poll. YouTube, vote now. Do you have a TV in your bedroom? Yes or no? Okay. Well, let's look at this Oiler game. Like, it feels a little weird, I will say, here. Like, we're used to, here in Edmonton, talking about a game one loss. We're used to having the panic set in, but instead, I don't know. There's a weird feeling that it just seems like everyone thinks that this is now this is just proven this is going to be an easy series and a foregone conclusion that the LA Kings don't have much to match up against the Oilers for the full series. Are the Kings maybe going to get a couple games? Absolutely. Where do you guys stand on how well the Oilers now match up against the Kings? Has it changed at all based on Game 1, what you saw last night?
For me, I don't know. The pulse I get around town is this is a mature fan base. It seemed like okay, we took care of business. It's Game 1, but I don't know. Are people thinking this is going to be a cakewalk? Maybe it's just me. I feel that this was a shadow of what we're going to see for the rest of the series from the LA Kings. Cass and I were just, we were tossing things back and forth that some of the things that the Kings will need to do to be competitive. I do think the Oilers still win this series, but I'm sticking with my 6 games. But I think it's a little bit of a relief from an Oilers fan viewpoint, but there's still a lot of work to do here.
Cass?
Oh yeah, you're going to see way better from the LA Kings. Like they're going to press a lot more. With that being said, I still think Edmonton wins a series. I still think probably in 6, maybe in 5. If they can win the next one, maybe it happens in 5, but potentially 6 games still would be my estimation. Like this is going to have some back and forth to it. But what I was saying to Gager before, and I'll say this again now, and I said it on the pregame show yesterday, all the areas that I thought were going to be the most important for them early in a series to especially Game 1 to have, they had. Like I love that their power play was lethal, and to me that maybe was the most important thing. One of the important things, they scored first, that was great. They were able to get to Talbot, that was great. But that power play being on point and dangerous is so huge, because for the LA Kings, who really want to play that defensive game, they want to slow Edmonton down, they want to clog up the neutral zone, they want to take away time and space, they want to play you really tight. It just brings in that tiny little element of doubt. Even from a physicality, if you're like, oh, we're going to go try to run these guys over, it's like, well, you have someone try to take someone's knees out with a dirty hit in Moore yesterday on Vinny Desharnais and takes a penalty, and the puck's in the back of the net, right? Dubois goes and takes a penalty, the puck's in the back of the net. Like you just all of a sudden create a little bit of doubt in their minds with trying to play as aggressive as they need to try to limit Edmonton and what they can do in the offensive zone. So while I do think there is more, and I think LA has a better game to them than what we saw yesterday, I just look at it and go, okay, they're going to be worried about that. If they're going to want to generate offense, if Edmonton plays a patient game, LA is going to have to open up a little bit. And we saw that yesterday. We saw them open up, and Edmonton was able to capitalize. Like I do not think, because for all the talk of how, and there was people writing about this, the analytics guys were writing about this, where we're like, LA goes against and shut possessions and things. For however good LA's goals against were, third best in the league, well, guess what? Their goals for sucked. And I just think, as Edmonton, and if Edmonton plays tight, I don't see LA winning the series, although it could be, tighter along the way than what we saw yesterday.
Yeah, like to that point, like it's 4-2 for the Oilers going into the third, and what if the Oilers do? They just put up 2 quick goals as the Kings are trying to maybe open things up a little bit more to get back in that hockey game and tie.
To get back into it, because they have to.
Exactly, and then the Oilers just run away, and they get their, take the 4-goal lead, game pretty much over. So what do you guys see from the Kings that gives you, I don't know if confidence is the right word, but that you guys think that they're going to be able to take 2 against the Oilers?
It's going to be their look. They were very undisciplined. If you're the coach of the Kings yesterday, you're upset with a lot of the way that these guys played. And I know there was a lot of stuff after the whistles that trying to, I don't know if it was assert dominance physically or trying to get under the skin of the Edmonton Oilers, and the Oilers didn't have anything to do with it. I liked their maturity level to play within the whistles and still be a real physical team. I said it this morning. I thought, there were certain shots that, maybe half a second too late, or, guys doing some things to Darnell Nurse in particular, that he played well within the game. and he took a number when he had a chance. He made sure he got something back, but it was aggressive, but a clean aggression, right? And that can almost drive a team even more mental in that case. And Pierre-Luc Dubois has got to, for the Kings to have any type of success, he has to be that player that we saw way back when he played for Columbus and was a dominant player. He's a shadow of what he was back then. If he doesn't pick up his game, it might go to 5. But I know he scored a goal, but it was a complete fluke. But he is a non-factor so far. It's only been one game, but they need way more from him if they want to have any sort of success against the Oilers.
This just coming from Spec. No supplementary discipline for Trevor Moore on his low hit on Dane Arnay in Game 1. It was reviewed by NHL player safety, so not even a fine or anything like that.
Not surprised. I thought.
Are
maybe
you not surprised?
Fine.
Yeah. Okay, but you thought maybe.
I'm not surprised. There was no way. I thought maybe a fine. I thought maybe they hit him for like $2,000 or something like that. But yeah, I'm not.
Do you remember the hits Archibald had on Stanley?
I knew there was going to be no games missed. Yeah, that was that changed that series.
Yeah. Okay. So what's the difference?
I think that hit lost the Oilers that series.
Because a lot of Oilers fans right now are looking at that and going, I think we're have a little legginess there. But no, like Oiler fans look and they say, like, Archibald, he got a game. What's the difference between the hits? Shouldn't Moore get a game here?
Probably should, but
he should.
They should. Why are shorts short? Like, they just are. It just happens. Like, it's just the supplemental discipline group just they just decide. And
it's a vicious hit though. Like, it's going to and then subbing the guy, right? Like, it's
the potential for injury in that is massive.
Like the Charlie horse. I thought it was a Charlie horse right away, and that's I've dealt with some guys getting Charlie horse. It's nasty. Very.
I blew up my knee.
Yeah.
Well, I should say Garnet Exelby blew up my knee doing that. That's how he hit me. I tore my MCL on a hit like that. Caught all legs. That was it. Principal point of contact was at my knees.
Isn't it a little bit irresponsible for the NHL not to fine with that type of a hit? Like,
I think so. That's where I thought it would be a fine.
It's so dumb because now where's the line? Okay, well, I can keep hitting that. I can keep hitting like that. It might be a penalty. It might, like,
this is the same league that gave one game to Alex Pietrangelo last year for a pretty vicious slash in the end.
For pretty vicious, overhand acts, like, and they're like, oh, well, maybe the player wasn't that hurt. It's like, it's not. I think sometimes they wait way too much on the outcome of the player being hurt or not hurt.
They don't. Like they don't do it on the result. The action. They do it on the result.
They do it on the result, and that to me is like, well, you tried to murder somebody, but you weren't really that good at murdering somebody, so you're just gonna not go to jail. Because you had a weapon and you fired it 5 times at somebody and you missed all 5 times. So since it didn't have the consequence of someone almost dying.
Although there is a thing called attempted murder where you get charged for that if you don't do it.
Well, no, but I'm just saying, because that's how it should be, because you get charged for it. But I'm saying if you didn't get charged for it, kind of like, okay, well, I hope you learn your lesson. You didn't kill him this time, and if you do it again, and maybe you're going to get charged with something if you actually kill it. Like, I'm just saying it doesn't make sense to me. Like, just only on the outcome of the play, there should be, I think, more heavily weighting on the potential for disaster, because especially for a big guy, and maybe I'm completely biased towards it with that type of a hit, where I'm just like you can't defend yourself against someone that does that. And it's like, you get punished all the time for being big, for hits to the head, for elbows and this, when it's like, just because you're tall, you get punished for it sometimes from a penalty standpoint. Well, yeah, I have zero problem with little guys getting suspended for doing little rat things. And not that Moore's a rat, like he's not. He's a good player, but it's frustrating. Sorry, I'm getting angry. It's because I'm tired.
It's crankiness. That's what we'll go with. So, like, how does this resonate? Like, does this things like this, like the Pietrangelo slash from last year, Moore not getting any supplement discipline? You know, Gage, you said what message did this send? Do other players in other series pay attention to this, or is this like a message being sent for this series that the players on both sides are seeing this, and you know the Oilers are going, really? That's not something we could get away with. That, and the Kings going, sweet, like we could keep trying to push this envelope and see where it goes. Like, how does this resonate with locker rooms?
Well, I think from if I'm looking at it from the Oilers' perspective, they're looking at the whole Pietrangelo thing that happened last year. Got the suspension, and he got into their heads. You saw everyone was like those fainting, Leon faking a slash. This is a point where you put it in the rearview mirror, right? You go to game 2, and I think that's kind of what they did. Like in previous playoffs, you'd see someone probably go after more in that case when it matters most. And what we saw was the game getting closer and closer, still in hand, but I think their eyes are on the big picture a little bit more. And again, I said it, they did a masterful job of when something like that happened after a scrum, there was a significant effort to take a number and exact some sort of retribution later on. That's what they have to do. And as for the Kings, I mean, if that's, they have to do a better job, and I think they will, because they realize that they cannot give this Oilers power play any extra time for something that's unnecessary. If they're taking away a goal and taking a penalty, fine, but all the extracurricular stuff has to end, because it's cooking right now.
Yeah, and that, Gager, that I'm glad you brought that up and you made that point, because to me that is the retribution for the Edmonton Oilers. That is the retribution, right? That's the retribution. It's not just, oh, we're going to run you from behind. It's okay. You know what? You're going to try to go us in. You're going to try to hit us dirty, play like this. Well, you do that and you take another penalty, and guess what? You're going to lose and you're going to get knocked right out of the series, because we're just going to dominate you with our power play that you can't stop. Like that is your retribution, and that is a mature retribution. And you saw them trying to go after Desharnais and suck him into stuff. You saw them, try to suck everybody in after the whistles with the scrums. And Edmonton, and they did a great job of this. It's just like, well, okay, whatever. You do what you got to do. We're going to try to let you take the penalty, and then we're just going to punish you for it. And again, as I said earlier, guys, that just dials back what LA is going to be able to do in their level of aggression, because now not only with the dirty hits, but just the normal hits and then in the normal plays where it's like, well, if you have that hesitation about doing something because you really can't take a penalty, well, now all of a sudden you're Edmonton is in their head, and it just creates, I think, a better situation for the Edmonton Oilers. And the biggest retribution in the series you can have isn't the getting back at them with another dirty hit or a slash. It's going to be, skating by him in the handshake line going like, yeah, screw you, buddy. Like,
enjoy
see
golfing.
You later. Have fun. Like, enjoy golfing. Like, thanks for the slash. Yeah, it gave us a power play, and we was a GWG in game 3, so you can go suck it. Like, that's the attitude and the mentality you need to have. And it looks like, to me, at least after game 1, and we'll see, because that can change and mentalities change and series change. But after game 1, that Edmonton had that mentality, and I loved it. It was good.
Yeah, and it's like, last year against Vegas, Pietrangelo got in the Oilers' head. But you go back to your prior to Calgary series, that was how Calgary found ways to beat the Oilers, was to get under their skin. And game 1, they did, and the Oilers, lost that game. But then after that, the Oilers learned and stopped engaging with Tkachuk and everything that was happening, and the Flames were taking penalties, and the Oilers won 4 straight, knocked out the Flames, destroyed the Flames entirely. So it's nice to see that this team is back to having that mentality, as opposed to the one last year against the Golden Knights, where it's do whatever you want to a degree. Now, there's always going to be a line until something has to happen, but as long as they haven't fully crossed it, then thanks for the power play. Watch this, and that's what they did.
Yeah, so this is this. So I'm going to go back, and I told this story before, but it's one of my favorites. So I'm going to go back to 2013 playoffs when I was in Ottawa and we were playing Montreal, and it was very much because it was a tight series for a time. It was a very violent series, very dirty series, which I think boded better for us than for them. But there was a desire to extract retribution for a variety of things, but it very much, and so sitting down with Paul McLean, him telling me again that I was going to be in, and hey, if you get a chance at these guys clean or the timing dictates it, do it. Don't do anything stupid. Don't do anything to put us, down. Don't do anything if it's a tight game to make sure that they have an opportunity to get back into the game. But if you have an opportunity to do it cleanly within the rules of the game, if you have an opportunity based on the score and the timing of the game, sure, take your shot. And it's like, and we had that. We had that when we were up, 4 or 5 goals in the third period, and we knew they were taking a penalty. We knew they were taking a penalty. Like I knew Ryan White was taking a penalty. In my head, it was just like, okay, now all bets are off. Because if we're even out of this, whatever. We're not going to hurt the team or hamper the team. It's like there are opportunities to do that. You just can't get sucked into it. Like you have to be the one to dictate that timing. You can't let the other person dictate it for you. And that was a mentality. And I had people teach me that even from a fighting standpoint is like, no, you be the one to dictate when and where and how. Don't let someone else pick that for you. Like you be the one to set that. And it's the same thing with physicality and with trying to take a run at someone and doing those dirty things that happen in a game. It's like, no, you have to decide when it happens. It can't be your emotions. It can't be the other team. Can't be the officials necessarily. Like you have to make that decision, and it has to be a reasonable and responsible and smart decision. Even inside of that, I'm trying to get someone back for this.
The Oilers had a 20-minute skate that is wrapped up, Tommy, down at the rink, saying they're done for the day. Same lines and deep pairings. Vinny Desharnais looked all right, and it was a full participant. The EST flyaway keyword coming up in about 20 minutes' time here on Two Mats and a Goalie. Matt Iwanek, Matt Cassian, Joaquin Gage with you here. Gage, what did you make of Skinner's play? Last year wasn't the best performance. Back, though, in the playoffs, young goalie. You want to see development. Was there anything you saw from him last night in Game 1?
He, the biggest takeaway, I guess, is the fact that he outdueled Cam Talbot for the first 40 minutes. There were key saves, and I said it this morning. They're so subtle. Just on his positioning, a bad angled shot that would have gone in, but his positioning was so good, And I point out the 2 big saves that were key that could have changed the whole course of the game was the one on Fiala in the first, and then the breakaway save on Arvidsson in the second, where he just gets a little piece of it. Like those were momentum building saves, and the Oilers come back and score, right? Like and you look at the 2 goals that Talbot allowed, those first 2, those were stoppable pucks. Horrible goals to allow, to let the crowd get into it. The Oilers start feeling good about themselves. Great game. I mean, kind of unlucky on a lot of these things, broken stick, shot off this 2 of the skate. But I really liked his game. I liked his composure after. It's very difficult sometimes when you have such bad luck on a goal go in and still regroup and be solid throughout the rest of the game. So all accounts, this is a different Stuart Skinner than we saw in last year's playoffs. It's going to get more and more difficult as it goes along here. He's going to have to get his game to a level where if they want to go as far as they want to go, I believe Stuart Skinner's his name's going to have to be mentioned in some sort of Conn Smythe talk. I'm not saying win it, but it should be mentioned at that point. He's going to have to do some special things.
Want to get into the Parish Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999. Library Pat says, great points. Cass, power play dominance even more impressive given that the Kings had one of the best PKs this season. They might feel like they're able to kill off some undisciplined stuff. If they can't, so much better. The Oilers' power play is a huge advantage. And then Coach Mike saying, does LA, sticking on goaltending, does LA go back to Talbot for Game 2? Coach Mike, what would you guys do if you're the Kings? You got Rittich there. Do you go back to Talbot just because you wrote him for Game 1 and you always could go to Rittich for Game 3, or do you mix things up because of just the way Game 1 went and you go with the other guy and see if he can get the win?
Yeah, I don't know. I've chewed on this a little bit. Because Tommy asked me the same question last night, and I think I've come to my conclusion finally, because I was humming and hawing yesterday. I wasn't really sure. I think I would start Talbot again, and the reason I think I would start Talbot again is I'm going to the team and I'm trying to say, okay, we don't need to panic and change this. It was a bad night, not a great night for Talbot, not a great night for us. Like, we are fine. That's the messaging, is we're going to be fine. It's a long series. We're going to be fine. So I'm putting my guy that's my guy in Talbot, and I started him in game 1 for a reason and not Rittich. So I'm going to go back to him here and start him in game 2. Now, if they struggle again in game 2, then in game 3, I'm making the switch. But I think for game 2, I'm going back to Talbot again.
Yeah, I agree with you, Cass. The leash is a little short, though. If there could be a quick change if things don't go well in those first 10 minutes. If depending on the outcome of the game, I might look at the old stick flipper going back for game 3, just because he had such a solid performance, I believe, in Los Angeles against the Oilers.
Yeah.
And maybe that makes a little bit more sense and going that route. But yeah, I think I stick with Talbot. Look, he's familiar with the rink. He's familiar with the team. Not that, this is something that's a little bit more, he's done it in this situation before in the same type of settings. That can sometimes add to everything. But yeah, he's an all-star this year. I know things kind of fell off halfway through, but we all saw what Cam Talbot's capable of doing in the playoffs. But again, I start him, but it's the choke chain is a little bit tighter this time.
The GSL Diesel Oil Stream post-game shows tomorrow, 6:30 right here in Edmonton Sports Talk. Tommy back at Hudson's West Edmonton Mall. He mentioned that you might be there too, Cass. You going down to West End tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm gonna make a guest appearance, which just means that by the time I do get some GCs, by the time I'm done the post-game show, it's like I'm gonna be home at probably, well, if there's no overtime, I'll be home at like 12:30 or 12:45 or 1 in the morning.
Yeah, Tommy got home at 1.
If there is overtime.
He was done at 12:15, he said, but then to pack up and get home, I think he said he was home by 1. Or did he leave
home by 1? Yeah. But he also lives on that side. I live in Short Park.
No,
so
he lives downtown. That's you.
But
it's further.
It's closer than Short Park.
100%.
So yeah. Well, I hope it doesn't go to overtime.
Knock on wood. Like the fact that this is what you're like that you're going with, like knock on wood. Now that you're going to Hudson's tomorrow,
yeah, I know.
I'm going to say it's now a good chance we might just see overtime just to get you.
And
going.
I don't. Here's the thing: is like I like overtime. Overtime is fun. Like, it's fun to watch. Like, and to feel that tension and that any momentness. It's nerve wracking. Like I love that. Like I revel in that. But it's just like that just means I'm going to go to bed later. I'm just like, oh, that just irks me. But
the whole city's doing it.
We'll head
over
to
day.
Hudson's. And
the whole city's doing it the exact same time.
I know.
Let's get to the two guys and a goalie's big and hot headlines, which is brought to you by Big Mama's and Papa's Pizzeria. BMPP is a real pizzeria restaurant, not just a delivery pizza chain, serving authentic Italian cuisine with their made-in-house pizza dough, traditional tomato sauce, and fresh toppings. Each pizza is cooked to perfection. A pizza experience you've been waiting for. Visit them at 12848 97th Street, so that's 128th Ave, 97th Street. Order today, bmpp.ca, or call 587-746-0550. They have the Giant Sicilian, which is the largest deliverable pizza in the world. It is legit a Guinness World Record. Delicious pizza. Go check them out. For the headlines, we got to go to the Vancouver Canucks right now.
I wanted to talk about this.
Rick Tocchet has spoken. Thatcher Demko skated yesterday. Won't play day-to-day. Won't play tonight. He's day-to-day. Say it's not connected to his last injury that he had, so it's something else that Demko's dealing with. When it comes to Elliot Freeman from Sportsnet, Frank Saravalli of Daily Faceoff, they're both reporting that his play for this series is questionable to return in this series. How big of a change is that impact? Or like, how much does that impact this series between the Canucks and the Preds? Gager? Casey DeSmith, can he carry them?
Look, he's a good goalie, but he's no Thatcher Demko. I don't know how much of that game that you watched, but he he kept the Wolves at bay at certain points. Made an absolutely unbelievable save in the first period, coming across with a pad save. Yeah, I mean, we didn't talk about it too much this year, Cass, about the Canucks goaltending. I kind of kept an eye on it. I think maybe the only time we did speak of it was when we were making the comparison is Skinner playing too much, right? And this is overuse with Demko. He's shown that this guy, he tends to, break down after 60, 65 games. And the Canucks had an opportunity, I think, to use the other guy. He's too key a player on that team for them to proceed in the playoffs. This is a massive, massive blow. If I'm the Preds, I am throwing everything at the net, and because there's going to be a subtle shift from the way that they defend. If you can get up the first goal again, it's, oh my gosh, we don't have our guy. The whole mindset changes when that happens. So unfortunate for Canucks fans, but yeah, this is a tough one. This is a piece you can't replace.
Yeah, this hurts. This absolutely hurts. After watching that first game, I was just like, oh, Nashville's done. Like watching how Vancouver played, like I was like, I just didn't see a way. I'm like, Vancouver's just going to absolutely roll them. They're going to kind of shut down that top line of Nashville. Nashville doesn't have much else, and Vancouver just going to walk all over them. Now, Vancouver may still win the series, but the road just got a lot harder without Demko. And we saw their record down the stretch where their record really suffered when he was in the lineup because he's just such an anchor. I mean, he's one of the best goalies in the world. And has played fantastic for them over the course of the entire year. And to have him hurt again, where it's now even if he comes back, where it's like, okay, he's maybe still not 100% from that first injury, and now there's something else that's nagging him too that's going to keep him out of the lineup. It just doesn't bode well for them. I mean, this could be, if the Vancouver Canucks end up getting knocked out at some point in the first two rounds, we could look back at this and say this is the turning point for them, or just the first Demko injury during the regular season where that was the turning point, and that's what ultimately cost them a chance to play deeper into the playoffs or a chance to win the cup, because I don't see how they get out of the West without Demko. I don't.
Casey DeSmith in his last 5 games, they were all against playoff teams. He had played a bit before against non-playoff teams mostly. Lost to the Kings, 842 save percentage. Lost to the Stars, 939 save percentage. Lost to Vegas, 800 save percentage. Lost to the Kings, 793 save percentage. Then beat the Oilers with that 970 save percentage when the division was on the line. Look, last year the Oilers, their season changed when the Golden Knights goalie got hurt and Bouchard and Hill came in, and it turned things around for the Golden Knights. Is this a situation, though, that this is like the reverse for the Oilers, that there's a goaltending change happening somewhere else? But like the path, depending on what happens with Demko and how long he's going to be out for. But as you just said, Cass, if he comes back, there's the first injury he's recovering from, and now the second injury. The path's really opened up to get to a Western Conference Finals for the Oilers.
This is, in my mind, it's completely different just because the fact that when Hill goes in, he's replacing Laurent Brossoit, all right? DeSmith's going in, and he's replacing Demko. Huge difference there. So
that's what I'm saying. It's reverse for the Oilers. Like there's a goaltending thing happening, but it's going to benefit them this time as opposed to work the other way like it did last year.
I completely agree with you. I thought you were saying that is this a point where DeSmith kind of goes on a roll?
No, I'm not gonna claim Casey DeSmith's gonna win the Stanley Cup this year like Adin Hill last year. No,
okay,
I'm gonna correct that right now. I don't need to also be told that I'm saying that Casey DeSmith is now Martin Brodeur, as I'm being told that I said Adin Hill was Patrick Wall, which I never officially said. But I'm gonna squash that early. I'm saying for the Oilers' perspective, does this open things up because now, last year it changed the Golden Knights. I don't think the Golden Knights beat the Oilers with the Brossoit and net for that whole series. Here, the Oilers looking good to probably knock off the Kings. Then you get the Preds, who either, your Oiler killers, or you get the Canucks, who now might not have Demko, or if they do, is banged up.
If they're looking that far ahead, Matty, then the Oilers are in trouble. Like they
shouldn't be looking at that
I'm
yet.
saying us.
No.
I'm saying fans. I'm saying media. I'm talking about us. Like the path. Like you look at what the Central is. Me and Huston, they use the soccer term today. It's the group of death. You look at what the Oilers have. Like it's like the parting of the seas here. The conference finals is right down there. They go out there like they're easily to me right now the favorite to come out of the Pacific.
Well, I thought they were the favorite before to come out of the Pacific, and so maybe it doesn't change that, but it's still tough. Like it's still tough. Still tough to come out of the Pacific. Like even like Vancouver, even without Demko, they're still a good team. They're not as good, but they're still a good team.
Yeah, Matty, you don't open your Christmas gifts on the 20th, okay? Just
no, don't do it. Don't do it.
Jesus, wow.
I'm just saying, like it's. If the Oilers don't, as of right now, and I think the Oilers, if they don't get to the conference finals, they've really dropped the ball big time. There's no excuses at this point. You don't have to play the Golden Knights. You might not have to play Demko. They should be able to easily get to a conference finals at this moment. I don't care if.
Well, it looks like
I'll open this present early here.
Conference final.
And then they get to a conference finals and have to take on one of the battered teams out in the Central. I'm not going to now put them in the Stanley Cup final, but they get the advantage. That's where I'm going with it. I'm okay. I'll do it.
All this after one game. I love it. I love it. It's great.
I said, like I was with you guys, I thought it would have been a 6-game series because I thought the Oilers, they like to make things more difficult, and I thought they'd lose game 1 potentially still. But I did say that if they win game 1, this is a short series, it's done. Like I personally don't see how the Kings come back. I don't think that Dave Rittich / Cam Talbot are going to be able to win 2-3 games, let alone 4, to win this series. So, from the Oilers' perspective, too, that this Preds-Canucks series, I think, especially with Demko's injury, means that that's definitely going to go longer at least. It's in the Oilers' best interest also to roll through this as quickly as they can because then they get a rest. They get like a week off.
But do you want a full week off? Or do you want,
I don't want a week off.
I don't want a full week off. I want like 3 days, maybe 4. Full week is too much.
Yeah. Way too much.
Yeah, full week is too much.
I don't think it matters to this team. I think they're good enough. I think
you're right. I think you're right. But tell me how having, what benefit are you going to get having 7 days of rest versus having 4 days of rest?
Just those few extra.
Because I can give you the drawbacks.
Well, the one benefit would be that the other team has to play play an extra game in that 3 times, so they're a little more banged up, and you've got just that little more extra rest. Now, understand there's that rust, and you're just eager to get on the ice, and practice is going to be boring for an entire week. But once you get to a second round, like there's not going to be a lot of days off after that point, especially between a second, a third, and a Stanley Cup final, if that's your ultimate goal. So just banking a few extra days, there's nothing wrong with that in my mind. Where's the downside?
Well, the rest side, getting out of the rhythm and getting out of the playoff, it's even, I think in the playoffs, it's even more pronounced in the regular season if you have those long breaks because the intensity in the playoffs is higher. And since the intensity is higher, it's like it's harder to recreate that in your practices. It's harder to recreate that level of intensity. And where, again, I'm totally a fan of saying having a couple extra days, but it's like, okay, if you have 4 days or 5 days off and the other team has 2 days off, well, I think that maybe benefits you more. But when you get to like that 7 days, that to me it's a little bit longer than I'd like. Now, don't get me wrong. If you tell me I have the option, of just knocking out a team right away, you're going to take it because it means you're advancing, right? Like you don't want to create any kind of doubt inside of there. But I don't know, Matty. I think when you start to get to the 6 or 7 days, it's too much.
Yeah, you're right, Cass. Three. I like 3 days. 1 day completely off. Go turn your mind off. The next day, maybe it's an optional. Start preparing. Maybe go over some video. Third day, you have a nice little practice and game. By the 4th day, you're playing again. To me, that's what you want to do.
What do you two know?
Matty,
have you ever played the game? Like,
just think of your golf swing, Matty. Like right now, it sucks. Right? You get out there and start swinging again.
Yeah, but I'm never good.
You were to take.
I'm never good. But that's where
I'm
you
not
guys
saying you're gonna
know
get
much
good.
better than me. That's the thing here. You guys completely would understand this. So I will defer to you guys on that. But
Well, thank you.
well, I'm not going to be the guy that sits here and argues with the two NHLers here, being like, "No, you're completely wrong. You don't know what you're talking about." Like I'm not gonna go there. I'll do that with other people and other things, but not on this one with you guys on this conversation. I'm also being told to pump the brakes now on my envisioning the Oilers now already in the Western Conference Finals, but I stand by it. Let's get to our EST flyaway keyword. Actually, before I do that, just a quick heads up on the poll. 51% say that they have a TV in their bedroom. 49% say no. Closer than I thought it was going to be.
That is closer than I thought.
And Big Dave did text in saying, as someone whose day job requires him to go in and out of people's houses, a lot of people have TVs in the bedroom, me included, that coming in from Big Dave. But our poll right now is saying basically 50-50, which I thought more people had TVs in their bedrooms. So let's get to the keyword. EST keyword, fly away to Las Vegas. We only have a few more chances to qualify. Do I have the graphic up? The graphic is up now. 2 nights, 2 nonstop flights, 3 nights accommodations, tickets to Cirque. Thanks to our partners with FlyYEG. Visit flyyeg.com for more information on the 50 nonstop flights they have to destinations, as well as our partners in Vegas, the LVCVA. Today's keyword is Hutton. Hutton, text that to 780-218-9999. Ben Hutton of the Vegas Golden Knights defenseman, Hutton. Text that to 780-218-9999. That's the keyword today for the EST flyaway. Shocking that Mark Stone scores minutes into the first game.
Nope.
Oh my God!
Not at all. Oh, not at all. I mean, what did you expect? What do you expect? The second we saw that he was going to have a long-term injury, it was like, oh, okay, he's back at the start of the playoffs. And I've been saying it the last number of weeks, and he'll be back and he'll be good. And there we go. He's back and he's good.
The fact that Hurdle scores too is hilarious. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking about just fan support over the last few days, just seeing Winnipeg and Vancouver and Edmonton and how jacked all the Canadian series are. I gotta hand it to Dallas fans a little bit from the snippets I watch of that game, and every time they're knowledgeable about the whole situation. And in American markets, sometimes you don't get that, but every time Stone's touching the puck, they're booing him. I love the fact that this whole LTIR has manifested its way into non-traditional hockey markets and making fans even angry. It's fantastic.
Dallas is a good hockey city. Dallas is a good hockey city. Don't think that they're uneducated hockey fans. There's a lot of Canadians down there too. And you think oil and gas. There's a lot of expats that have ended up down in Dallas that have been there for a long time, number of years, maybe moved down there permanently to Texas. The people that watch hockey and care about hockey there, they know their hockey. Like especially in Texas, like if you're into a sport, you are into a sport. So it doesn't surprise me one bit that that's the attitude. And fans in Texas, and this was in Houston too, they love yelling at people on the other team. And it's great. And sometimes the things they say are not very kind. So, they're not quite at like a Philly level in terms of belligerence, let's say. But they certainly pay attention to that. So, I mean, I love that they were doing that too. I thought it was great. And I love Stoney. I mean, he's a friend. Mark Stone's a friend. I love Stoney. He's awesome guy. But
next time you talk to him, Cass, tell him he's the Altuve of the NHL. He should walk around like this all the time without showing his stuff.
Don't show the spleen surgery marks. Or, you can't see the scars. You can't show the scars. Cover that up. You're not allowed to see if that's out there. Did your guys' opinion change of Dallas at all yesterday, or is it just game one for you? Like Ottinger still hasn't looked great.
Yeah, their depth still look pretty good. Yeah. Like some of the Stankoven, that third line looked really good. Yeah, if Ottinger can pull together for the rest of the series, I still think there's a shot. Like it's going to be a tight series. I thought this one could go 7, and I mean we'll have to see, obviously, but I don't know. I'm not freaking out about Dallas after losing that one game.
Gager?
Both goalies need to be better. There was some suspect goals there, but I think
Logan, the one
Can you expect more from Logan Thompson?
Logan Thompson was a bad one.
Yeah, that was really, really bad.
That was bad. Yeah.
That could have been disastrous. They squeaked it out in the end, but yeah, I think that's a fascinating series. That's fun to watch.
Surprised that the Leafs evened up their series?
No, they're a good team.
I was shocked at Austin Matthews. Actually, that was
His 70th goal of the season.
Yeah, and Hyman has 57. He put his mark on that game, like with physical play, being in on every goal. That's kind of a coming out party for Austin Matthews, and I've never seen I'm watching the first game. Like he does a great job of finding the quiet ice and getting scoring chances, right? But there was a unique shift in his play where he wasn't going to allow the Leafs to lose that game. I got to tip my hat to him on that one. I've never seen him play like that. Obviously, I don't watch the Leafs too much, but that was the best I've ever seen him play.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me in some ways, just with the situation. You know, you lose the first one, you're getting absolutely beat up in a big competition, and then all of a sudden you come out and you have a night, and all of a sudden things start to look up, and things start to look better. Much like our F1 fantasy league and Matthew Iwanek winning first podium last week, when all seems dire, he gains 126 points or so.
I was actually going to get to F1 here. I pulled out 2 chips. I pulled them out, and I will say the Limitless nailed it. I couldn't have asked for a better weekend almost using that Limitless pass.
Yep.
Where I got all top 5 drivers. I got the 2 constructors right. It was the perfect one. Gager, when I told him I was doing that one, he was a little concerned about me because he said there was more rain in the forecast. But, podium hunting is now 3rd place. So, I'm sitting in a position right now, and you haven't pulled any chips, have you?
Nope.
Yeah,
I have used zero. I have used zero chips the entire time. I debated using one last weekend, so I'll tell you my justification behind that. Like I thought about using the same, being a sprint weekend, about doing it, but I was like, well, with the new sprint formatting, I was like, they're still going to maybe have to figure this thing out a little bit here. So I'm going to give them till the next sprint race, and maybe throw it out the next sprint race. So yeah, I mean, it would have been nice to have, but I'm just going to kind of keep doing what I'm doing, and then the chips are in my back pocket.
Gager, what'd you use this weekend?
They're just sitting there.
Use the 3 times.
They're just sitting there.
Yeah, I used the 3-time on Max, which was a good call. Yep. So
I did that with my other team. So.
Yeah, so I only used 1 chip for one of my teams, but it's interesting to see. Cass has been hitting this thing out of the park. It's going to be tough because something's going to have to happen. The thing is that when you use the chips, is if it goes wrong, it goes really wrong because you're getting if there's a DNF or something like that. You get double minus points, right? So that could tighten up the field that way. And it was a good call by you, Maddie Iwanek, for using it when you did, because when you look at the power unit usage or gearboxes, things like that, they talk about how reliable these cars are, but now we're getting into the point where there's going to be changes, there's going to be grid places lost. So kudos to both of you so far. I won't deny your prowess in the F1 pool, but it's far from over, boys. And
well, here's my thing, Gager. Is you guys both because Maddie, you finished first this week, podium. Gager, you finished second, but you guys both used chips.
Yeah.
Then I finished 3rd and 4th with my 2 teams, both which did not use chips. So I'm happy with my performance this week. I'm happy with the financial rankings. So my lower end drivers did a really good job of bumping up
That's
their
what
value.
I don't get.
So I just will continue to play that game and increase the value of my team to where, I can have a limitless chip every week without having to spend it. So that's what I'm working towards here. But you know what, guys, Gager, this may have been your first podium of the year and as well. So you know what, I'm happy for you.
I think it's my second, but anyways.
Second, there you go.
This is all coming down to the three of us and Nanso, Hernan Salas. No one else has a shot.
Yep.
Like Dusty, I don't even think is going to check this ever again. Kent Morrison's out because he used his chips in week 1 and nothing really came of that. He's right at the bottom. And I don't think Lucas cares like enough to figure out how to learn the chips. So he puts his team in and out. Boy, I just need, Cass, when you use those chips, it be a bad weekend. Like it not benefit you like it benefited me this weekend. And then maybe I could get second. First is going to be too hard.
Well, the thing is I don't even necessarily have to use them because it's like I have enough of a lead where I don't feel like I'm pressured to have to use them. Now, if things tighten up a little bit, all of a sudden you kind of go, okay, well, maybe I need to try to extend a lead or get the lead back or something. So
I still have another chip.
Yeah.
I still have another chip. And maybe I could. I'm only 200 points back. 202 points back behind you, Cass. I'm coming.
One good weekend. It's one good weekend.
When's the next one? We don't have anything this weekend, do we?
2 weeks.
No.
2 weeks, Miami.
Oh, the Miami race. That's always fun.
Can't wait. Yeah, that's a good one.
Just
Shaq in the big Cadillac. That's always good.
before I let you guys go, just a quick update on Demko from Farhan Lalji of TSN. I'm told Demko has an injury to the same knee that recently kept him out 5 weeks, even if it may not be an occurrence of the same injury. Had an MRI yesterday. Also hearing same as others, questionable to return for the series. So it's the same knee that has an injury, but it's not the same injury.
like that means it's like if you had MCL, it could be ACL or PCL. Like that's bad.
That's really
bad. Yeah.
ACL for a goalie. That's you're done for the year or for the rest of the year. That's you might as well go get the surgery now.
Well, probably what they're going to do, though, if that's what it is, Gager, is they'll try to rehab because it's like you have a week to try to rehab. Yeah. So you might as well try to rehab to see if that helps things, and then if rehab isn't helping, then you're gonna have the surgery done. But
Gager,
that's bad for Vancouver.
Gager, how do knee injuries affect the goalie biggest? Like, how's that? Like, if he gets out there, how's that impacting his play?
Well, MCLs go a lot on goalies just because of the stance and pushing, and now it's putting even more pressure the way that they move around on their knees. I was lucky that it was more. We didn't really move like that. There was still some stand-up guys. There was butterfly and some movement while down on the ice, but not like you see today. And some guys just, the genetically they there's more wear and tear. He's a big guy. It's every time you go down on a goal as a goalie, it's 2 times the amount of force as your body weight. So just imagine that. I don't know. Demko's 200 pounds or whatever. So, there's 400 pounds every time. It's a lot of wear and tear. He does some pretty miraculous things on the ice that puts even more strain on that. It's unfortunate because to me, seeing the amount of injuries and now it's the same knee, but it's something different. These are the types of injuries that you hear that cut careers short or just they're a shadow of their former selves when they eventually do come back. So it saddens me a little bit because he's such a pleasure to watch as a goalie. But yeah, it's even sadder for a bunch of my old friends in Kitsilano today. I'm sure I'll have to give some shout outs to them and see how they're doing because they're probably knee deep in IPAs.
Gager, you're on the morning show tomorrow. Cass, you're on the pregame show tomorrow as well. Quick predictions for game 2 right now. Have a sense.
I'm going to go probably a tighter game. I think 4-2 Edmonton with an empty netter.
Gager?
Not overtime. Please. Not
3-2 Oilers double overtime.
Oh, you're killing me, man. You are killing me.
Oh, boys.
It's early overtime. Early
Second
still be
OT.
happy.
So you got the one
Early
OT,
second
you got the
OT.
flood, and then you come on, and then it's over. It's over. Boys,
And then it's over. Oh, geez.
great show again today. Next two guys and a goalie. Dusty returns. So the three of you are back. Gager, enjoy the morning show tomorrow, and Cass, enjoy pregame tomorrow as well.
Sounds good, buddy.
Later, boys.
And now let's get to our... Is that going to come over? There it comes over. Let's get to our EST Flyaway qualifier for today on two guys and a goalie. Zach, who do we have on the line?
We got Wilson the volleyball.
Wilson the volleyball. You made it to land, and you've qualified for the trip to Vegas. Congratulations. Have you ever been to Vegas before?
I have been to Vegas. I'm very excited to get in. It's like the last week here.
Yes, it is. What would you want to do if you got to Vegas? What would be the number one thing you'd want to do if you got there?
I think I would try to make it be a Raiders game, probably. I'm a Raiders fan, even though they've sucked for a while, but I am a Raiders fan still.
Got to stick with your team. You got. Well, they had the year a couple years ago where they almost made the playoffs, or did they make? They made the playoffs, and then they let the interim coach go, and like it was. Should have stuck with him. Should have stuck with him. You didn't need to bring in Josh McDaniels. If you win, who would you take with you to Vegas?
I'm going to take Gager to Vegas. That's who I'm going to take.
You're going to take Gager. Well,
yeah,
he would love that. He would absolutely love that. Well, Wilson, the volleyball, congratulations. You're in the draw. Keep your phone on Friday morning in the morning show, because if you are the winner, the boys will give you a call, let you know that you're off to Vegas.
Awesome. Thanks a lot.
Congrats. Best of luck. Your next chance to qualify for the EST Flyway comes tomorrow morning. Lieutenant Eric, Joaquin Gage, Zach to come. Nielsen show tomorrow morning. It's the second last day to qualify for the EST Flyway. Coming up next here on Edmonton Sports Talk on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. It is a morning show replay. And then again, we're back with live programming tomorrow to get you set for Game 2 at 6 o'clock with the Nielsen Show. On behalf of Zach to come, Joaquin Gage, Matt Cass, and I'm Matt Iwanek. Thanks for tuning in to Two Guys and a Goalie. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday.